on your LinkedIn header, you've won
Mm.
various awards as well. Was it you're in the top 1,000 fastest growing companies in Europe by the FT? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. We finished third last year in the fastest growing companies in Europe.
Wow.
This year we're 54th, and we're still the third highest place growing company from who was also in it last year. So kind of the other
Yeah.
51 companies in the top 54 are new companies to the metric. So yeah, we're maintaining a fast pace of growth, but like I say, this is we're about to start an even faster pace of growth. But I think it's just a really exciting place to be because we're constantly recruiting. I think our number one challenge at the moment is just getting kind of enough people,
Okay.
enough of the right people into the business to keep it growing. But it's a good problem to have. And we've learned so many lessons, I think, over the past 3 years, which like there's some of the kind of common lessons that you hear people talk about, but they're like, if I was kind of sat here 3 years ago, it'd be like, okay, yeah, I know people always tell me these things. I'm sure they are important, but maybe they're not as important as people think. But I want to tell people who are listening to this podcast, these things are really, really critical. If you can focus on nothing else in your business, you need to do these things. So, firstly, I think that you need, as a business, you have to focus on cash.
Mm-hmm.
Like just if you can focus on one thing, first of all, focus absolutely on cash until your business is cash generative. Doesn't necessarily matter that it's profitable or not, as long as you have a route to profitability. So make sure you get to cash positivity first, and then make sure that you've also got a route to profitability, even if you aren't profitable. Because if you cash will kill your business, even if it's not, even if it doesn't mean kind of your business folds.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the cash to invest in its growth, then you're just not going to get to where you need to be. So like and that is so important. So I cannot stress that enough. Secondly, now this one again, it's just something that you hear all the time, but then you kind of hear and go, yeah, sure, I'm sure that's right, but I'm going to carry on doing whatever I'm doing. So secondly, with respect to people, hire the best people that you can afford every time. And note, I say the best, not the most expensive, because there's a difference.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you need to, as a business leader, define what you need in the next few years of your growth from that role, and then find the person who is best at doing that role that you can afford. So that doesn't mean kind of, for instance, if you've got ambitions to kind of get to a workforce of 100 people, for instance, the best person for you over the next 3 years is probably not someone who's capable of managing 10,000 people,
Yeah.
even if they are the most expensive person. So that's just an example. But I think that is so important. I cannot stress that enough. Hire the best people that you can afford, the best people, not the most expensive. So that's number two. And then I think the third one is, again, something you hear all the time, but people go, yes, I understand that, but don't necessarily put it into practice. And that is, be very, very transparent in your dealings with people, and always stick to your values, no matter the cost. And there are so many times in business that you'll come across like an opportunity or a decision that needs to be made, and it's like, oh, but doesn't quite fit with kind of our values or how we do business. But we could probably just about shoehorn the decision or justify the decision on this basis. Don't do that. If you're even asking that question, like, can we shoehorn it in, or can we kind of just get around our values? Just don't do it. You've answered your question already, because the problem is, once you lose who you are as a business, you will lose your direction. It doesn't matter what you think you might be able to kind of flex or get away with. It's not true. If you compromise who you are, you will lose your direction. And so how this plays out in business, so this plays out, I think, in particular with people. So as well as business decisions. So, for instance, this means kind of letting go of your really high performers if they are operating in a way that is out of kilter with your values. So even if they're kind of bringing in loads of sales, if they're doing it in a way that is not in keeping with your values, just let them go. I can, from experience, I can promise you that this is true, that even someone you think is indispensable because of what they're bringing, by simply kind of letting them go and kind of letting others around them flourish instead of being suppressed by kind of their behavior, you will see much more growth than you thought you would have lost. So just you have to stick to your values in your decision making. And I think the other thing to remember just on that is, I think it's okay to acknowledge that not everyone that you bring into your business is going to go on the full journey with you, because people are on their own journeys, and some people may not want to go kind of where the business is going. Some people may not be able to go where the business is going. And I think that's okay, but you just have to be transparent with people about where you are as a business and where they are as a person, and make sure you're dealing with that situation fairly. But you have to acknowledge that situation exists. I mean, just to give an example, it would be like, trying to climb Mount Everest with someone who's kind of got really bad asthma or something like that, and you might be able to get them up a certain distance, but come on, let's be real about this situation. You're not going to be able to get to the top with that person. It's not going to be fair on them, and it's not going to be fair on the rest of the party kind of trying to get there. And so that's just life. That's you have to kind of acknowledge those situations and just move past them, but deal with people fairly. Sorry, that was an incredibly long-winded answer to your question. But hopefully there's some kind of nuggets of some wisdom that of things that I've learned along this journey so far.
It feels like that was quite therapeutic for you.
It was, yeah. No, it's good. It's good to talk about these things. And like I said at the beginning, actually, anyone who's listening, please act on those 3 things, because they will benefit your business so much more than most other decisions that you can make.